This is Grimm's Comics Corner with Bettie Page, the princess and the pinup. Now, I promise this doesn't have anything to do with Queen Elizabeth dying. This is just, it was the next one. Right after the Halloween special, it's this one. And I think this is the last one we're going to do. The rest of them you'll have to go ahead and check out yourself. They're still making Bettie Page. There's actually a 2022 series called The Alien Agenda. And he also did Unbound, which has her fighting Lovecraftian monsters. So go ahead and check those out. But for now, we're just going to do The Princess and the Pinup. And then go to another character right after that. The events of this book take place after the Bettie Page 2018 Halloween special. Just so you guys know. I knew you'd be back. Did you honestly believe you could escape me? I am the gate and the guardian of the gate. You, a speck of dust, nothing. Au contraire, I happen to think she's a very special lady, and I'm not about to let some interdimensional bully put his grubby tentacles on my girl. Now be gone, 12 Eyes, before I put a size 10 tap shoe in your behind. This isn't over, pretty boy. They always say that when it's over. Bullies just hate it when you hit back. Last time I had a magic spell to use on him, but I couldn't remember it. You still have all the magic I need, Bettie Page. Oh, Jean. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Your timing is terrible, McKnight. How'd you know it was me? Because your timing is terrible. Cry me a river, and when you're done, pack a bag and grab your passport. A car is coming for you in 30 minutes. There's nothing more exciting than a new mission, even when it comes as 5 a.m. phone call, but the excitement hadn't chased the dream completely out of my head. Just like a few weeks hadn't caused that last mission and its monster out of my head. Chased, rather, that last mission. After a quick shower and a long drive out to an airfield in Lord knows where, Long Island, my mind was too full of questions to dwell on the past. You're gonna fly this crate? I was a pilot before Uncle Sam decided I should trade my wings for a trench coat. I think I can get us there in one piece. Secret Diary of Bettie Page. I love flying, and I was thrilled to be coming in over London, but I don't recommend the B-47 Stratojet for your next European vacation. It's not designed for comfort. I guess we were in a rush. Chapter 1, The Princess and the Pinup. So, where's Lissa? The British want to limit exposure on this. It's most secret, as they call over here. So it's just you and me this time. Great. Now I know what you told the Brits. I really have to stop underestimating you. I also know that Lissa is the best backup there is, and we don't go on an overseas mission without backup. You really do. Oh, okay. I see. It's weird how they did that. I thought that would be between them. Oh, I read that wrong, guys. My bad. Let's do this from the top. I also know that Lissa is the best backup there is, and we don't go on an overseas mission without backup. I really have to stop underestimating you. Great, now I know what you told the Brits. You really do. Lissa is coming along a little later on a commercial flight. We won't see her until she chooses to step out of the shadows. The Brits are our allies, sure, and if they're playing games with us, I want to know about it. Fancy! Follow me. The service entrance? Something like that. What is this place? It looks like no one's been down here for years. A dozen years ago, it was one of the most important places in the world. Not that you know to look at it now. It's pretty important tonight, wouldn't you say, Captain? Good to see you, Captain. This is my associate, Miss Bettie Page. Bettie Page? Betty, this gentleman is... Byrne. Thomas Byrne. Flick. Charmed, hold on. Charmed, I'm sure. Shall we go in? The PM's waiting. The PM? Ah, Captain McKnight and Miss Page, so good of you to come at the quick march. This gentleman is Lord Harling from the Ministry of Defense. Lord Harling, Mr. Prime Minister, it's a real honor to meet you. I'm told the honor is mine. If Captain McKnight is to be believed, you're the pretty little girl who crashed a flying saucer once. Not so little anymore, but yes, I discovered that if you pull the keys out while they're in the air, they come down. Just the kind of vital intelligence we shall need on this mission. Tell them your story, Byrne. But of course, sir. Miss Page, I'm an officer with the Secret Intelligence Services. 2 days ago, I had an appointment to meet with Lord Harling at Windsor. Ministry business. I was to brief him so he could brief our new queen on matters pertaining to the defense of the realm and so forth. Our briefing went quite late, so I stayed the night at the Windsor. The royal family is not above setting aside a cot for a working intelligence officer when pressed. Steady on, old man. This isn't a music hall, Byrne. Forgive me, shan't happen again. To get right to it, I couldn't sleep and I had stepped outside for a smoke, and then, the most extraordinary thing. Whoosh! My first UFO, all my years as a pilot, never saw anything like it. UFO? UFO in Britain. Oh, they say UFO. Okay. UFO? UFO in Britain, they say it is one word. I could see no damage from the UFO's ray beam or what have you, but regardless, I know an attack when I see one. I rushed to the royal family's apartments. Everyone inside was knocked out, and I concluded the UFO had fired some kind of, I suppose you'd call it a sleep ray, silly as that sounds. Your Majesty! What's the American expression? I was a day late and $1 short. Step back from the Queen! Ugh! It must have been that sleep ray. I missed whatever happened next. When I awoke, I found to my shame that the Queen was gone. No one was permanently injured, but their choice of target demonstrates not only hostility, but an understanding of our culture and power structure. To take the Queen is to inflict maximum damage on English morale. You've kept this under wraps, of course. Of course, Captain. Outside of the 5 of us in this room, only a handful of top men know what's happened. The barest minimum. Top men? What about Queen Elizabeth's sister, her husband, and children? Prince Philip knows he was out with his mates when it happened, but when he came back, Byrne read him in. The children slept through it and have been told a quite believable lie about their mothers being being off on affairs of state. Prince Margaret got the same story the children got. How long do you think you can keep the lid on a thing like this? It'll take a miracle to get her back before the news gets out. Miss Page, you and Captain McKnight have more experience with these matters than we do, and we're counting on your expertise in this dire emergency. So you'd best get to work producing me that miracle, eh? Act the quick march, sir. If you weren't around during World War II, it's hard to explain what it feels like to have Winston Churchill look at you and demand you make him a miracle. Later, I heard stuff about him that was disappointing, but in 1952, he was still the man who held the line in 1940, the man who kept Hitler at bay while the world held its breath. McKnight had some official business to discuss with Lord Harlan, so I headed up to Windsor Castle to give the abduction side a once-over. Mr. Byrne drove me up in his very pretty automobile. Nice car, Mr. Byrne. I thought secret agents were supposed to avoid drawing attention to themselves. It's not government issue, Miss Page, nor could I afford it on a humble civil servant salary, as I'm sure you've guessed. Fact of the matter is, I wanted playing cards. You're a real rule breaker, aren't you, Mr. Byrne? I'm going to have to keep an eye on you. See that you do. But someone is already keeping an eye or 3 on both of us. Anyone you're acquainted with? Afraid not. The design is similar, but definitely not the same. Zzz. Boom! That was no sleep ray. Apparently not. Boom, boom, boom. Zzz. They really seem to have it in for you. Are you sure it's not for you? Couldn't be. Everybody likes me. Crash! What are you? I don't think they're going to leave us alone without some persuasion. I just need to borrow your cute little pistol for a minute. Bullies just hate it when you hit back. Pow! Get back in the car, you mad thing! Pow, pow! Pow, pow! Pow! Sping! Sping! You must have another magazine for this thing. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but the Walther is for killing human beings at close range. You won't shoot down a UFO with it. What have you got in here? A radio, Lone Wolf? Couple of RAF fighter planes would come in handy right now. Most secret means we don't disturb the RAF from their beauty sleep. I say, be careful in my glove box. There are... I'm very careful. Incendiary or smoke? Smoke, I hope. Thought. Smoke it is. That's two. Ta-ching! We're covered. Kill the engine. Aye, aye, skipper. With any luck, they'll give up and go back to Mars or whatever. You're quite the cool-headed girl, aren't you? This isn't my first UFO attack. I've seen a lot worse than flying saucers. So I hear. There was some talk that one of McKnight's had faced down a great old one and chased it back to its home field. I didn't believe it, but now I've met you, I'm beginning to come around. Was that you? Maybe. My fall has been such a social whirl, it's hard to keep my rejected suitors straight. One of them might have been a disgusting tentacle god from another dimension. I don't hear that woo-whoosh sound anymore. Maybe it's moved off. We'll take a quick reset. No! The engine's gone dead! And we're next! Come on, I bet we can outrun those goons. This is not the best plan. Happy to hear yours, Thomas. Keep low. You don't have to tell me twice. Zazzit. 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 Not terribly good shots, are they? Zat. 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 Ah! No! Crash! Gosh! Yeah, got some artwork here. Part of me was thinking, oh no, did I kill it? Have I started a war of the worlds or something? The other part of me was thinking, what kind of Mickey Mouse space helmet can you crack with a hunk of wood? I didn't really have time to waste on such consternations as Ming the Merciless here still had a couple of friends skulking around with their death rays. Speaking of which, I was hoping that if push came to shove, I could find the trigger on the thing. As it turned out, they gave up pretty easily. I was almost insulted. I was still in shock from seeing poor Tom disintegrated, but the survival instinct has a way of taking over. Like I had to hope he didn't have his keys in his pockets when they blasted him. The bad news seemed like the keys did get vaporized. Good news, an expensive British sports car is no harder to hotwire than a domestic jalopy. Tick, tick, vroom. The next big challenge, remembering to drive on the left side of the road. And somehow convincing the guards at Windsor Palace to let me in the gate. Secret Diary of Bettie Page, Chapter 2, Queen for a Day. Here now, Miss Parking is for visitors backed by... Look, soldier, my name is Bettie Page and they're expecting me inside. I was supposed to be arriving last night, but things went bad. I hadn't slept in 2 days and I don't have the energy or patience for red tape. If you don't have my name on a clipboard or something, get Winston Churchill on the phone and he can explain it to you. I don't know if they actually got the Prime Minister on the phone, but they found someone who set him straight. I wanted nothing more than a warm bed and 24 hours of sleep, but this was Windsor Castle, not a Howard Johnson's, and I had a terrible feeling I was about to meet royalty with sweaters on my teeth. I wasn't in the mood for Lord Stuffy Pants, so it was a relief to see McKnight after what I had been through. I'll be honest, I wanted to run into his arms and get a big, confident hug. I know that's not how a professional secret agent reports into her boss, but I was worn pretty thin. I didn't expect to beat you here. I say, where's Agent Byrne? We were attacked. UFO drove us out onto the road with some kind of heat ray, and we took off on foot. Byrne didn't make it. They disintegrated him right in front of me. Good heavens, Byrne dead? At least you made it in one piece. Let's get you a comfortable chair and a cup of coffee, and you can tell us what happened. Oi, did she say disintegrated? She did indeed, Private Close. She did indeed. Do they even have coffee here? I thought it was all tea. Poor Byrne. Hell of a way to go. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. This is exactly what I was talking to you about. There is a secret war brewing in Britain, and the world needs to be prepared, defended. Lord Harling has been trying to get support and funding for, let's say, a more robust response to this saucer threat. Something like Strategic Air Command, but focused on UFOs instead of the Soviets. Quite. You've seen these monsters, Miss Page. Surely you agree. My experience has been complicated, Lord Harlan. I encountered it sounds silly to say it, but I met a friendly alien on my mission in France. He saved my life. The others I've encountered, you hit him with everything we got. But first, let's recover my wife, shall we? Your Royal Highness! You may stand at ease, Lord Harling. May I present Captain Lawrence McKnight, United States Air Force and Special Agent Bettie Page. Very special indeed. A pleasure to meet you both in spite of the circumstances. It's an honor, sir. We'll find Her Royal Highness, I promise. I appreciate your confidence, Special Agent Page, and your dedication. I'm out of my mind with worry. May we take a peek at her rooms? It might help if we could see the abduction site. Definitely some increased radiation in here. Clack, clack, clack. It looks like the place has been cleaned up since the incident. Yes, I suppose we should have just left it as it was. I hope staff haven't vacuumed up the clue or something. I get it. After something upsetting, there's that urge to put things back how they were. Don't beat yourself up over it, sir. Thank you, Miss Page. You're kind to say so. I can't tell from the... excuse me. I can't tell from this gizmo if the... Oh, yeah, okay, that's right. I can't tell from this gizmo if the radiation is from the weapon's discharge or from the saucer's propulsion. Speaking of which, there's one of their ray tubes in the back seat of the car. We should get that to a lab so some egghead can figure it out. In the back seat? Now you tell me? I forgot. I've had a busy morning. We have a problem. Someone talked. Any idea who? Does it matter? If people believe that headline, Great Britain, the entire Commonwealth, all thrown into chaos. I don't know the rules over here. Do people trust this rag? As you may have guessed, the Mail has a reputation for sensationalism and hyperbole. But if we don't produce my wife in public tout de suite, this story could gain credence. I have a terrible idea. Oh no. No. Come on, no. Not just a terrible idea, but I had to make it work myself. The handsome prince wasn't the kind of guy to remember his wife's favorite shade of lipstick. But he was kind enough to help me on with her pearls. Snap, pop. Pop, snap, snap, pop. Your Royal Highness. Am I doing this right, sir? Just grand, Betty. Prime Minister, so good of you to come. As ever, sir, it is my honor and privilege. Snap, snap, pop. Do you think they bought it? I believe they did buy it, as you say. I am certain the British public would be convinced seeing you with myself and the Prince. It's a relief to find you alive and well, Agent Page. Thank you, sir. Sorry to hear about Byrne. Insolent chap, but so many of the best spies are. We've been over the grounds and haven't found much to go on, but Captain McKnight found strong radiation traces. With your permission, he'd like to borrow a plane from the RAF and see if he can track the saucer's trail. I suppose a slim lead is better than no lead at all. Can't imagine where my dear Lilibet is what my dear Lilibet is going through, even as we stand here talking pleasantly in the garden. This is the strangest crisis the Empire has faced in my lifetime, but we will weather it to victory as ever, and have faith in the Queen. Like Agent Page, she may seem like a slender, delicate girl, but there's an iron spine in her. If she's as bold with them as she is with me, I have no doubt the little green devils are terrified of her by now. Having satisfied the British press, and hopefully the public, that their Queen was alive and well, we return to the challenge at hand. Where was she? Thanks for squaring things up with Churchill. He set me up with a brand new RAF Canberra and a bigger Geiger counter. I'll head over to Northolt Air Base now and make the first runs in the morning. Let's hope we turn up something. One last very important thing before you go. Lawrence? I was wondering if you caught that, so now you know. It only took a year or so. I think I preferred the mystery. I promise I will never ever call you Larry. Happy hunting, McKnight. I thought I was off duty till morning, but the surprises weren't over. Don't scream, girl, it's me. Lissa! Miss me? Like crazy. What have you been up to? Flying saucer hunting, and I think I found one. Want to come with? Nice car. Should I ask where you got it? Long story, but how about we say I inherited it and leave it at that? Where are we going? North Bedfordshire. I've been digging into the history of UFO sightings over here. Most of the reports are pretty detailed, but this one in particular had all kinds of most secret tags and redactions and whatnot. It happened near their experimental airplane facility, the Royal Aircraft Establishment, thank you very much, and Lord Harling's name was all over the secret orders to steal the records. You think Harling is hiding a flying saucer in Bedford? I know you've seen the file in Roswell. I know you remember where our old pal Elroy Benway got his flying saucer. Oh man, I didn't think this would get more messy, but listen, if you're right... I didn't finish the sentence. I didn't know how to finish the sentence. The facility is about 30 yards through these woods. Okay, time to commit an act of espionage against our allies. It's only espionage if we get caught. Let's not do that then. Snip. So where would you hide a captured flying saucer if you had it? Not in the middle of everything. Not all lit up. That one looks promising. Where did you learn that? Did you know that in high school I was voted most likely to succeed? Holy moly! We found it. We have to go see if the Queen is on board. We have to go report to McKnight and come back with reinforcements. Come on, listen, the Queen could be 10 feet away from us. We could rescue her right now. Clang, 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 clang. Or we could run like heck and come back later. Best plan. Clang, 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 clang. We were so close. Come on. Clang, 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 clang. Halt. Clang, 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 clang. Stay right where you are. Clang, clang, clang. We can't get caught. If we split, he might have a second's pause before he figures out who to chase. Or we both get shot, but I don't have a better idea. We have to take the chance. I found them. Go. Oi, halt! I gambled that the average Tommy wouldn't machine gun a couple of pretty girls if he wasn't feeling threatened. It paid off. I took another gamble and jumped through the first door I passed. That gamble paid off too, but not how I ever could have imagined. You again. Look, Mr. Spaceman, I'm awfully sorry for cracking you in the helmet and giving you that awful shiner, but you had just disintegrated my friend. Maybe we can start over? I'm Bettie Page from Tennessee. What's your name and where are you from? I appreciate your apology, Miss Page, but this mustn't. I mean to say, it's just not done, you see. Procedure and all that. Ever so sorry. And then it all went black. Didn't feel a thing. No sharp blow to the back of the head. No sleep gas seeping into the room. No heat ray searing my skin. Not even a pop like a fuse blowing. Just like flipping a light switch to off. I didn't have time to wonder. Is this what being disintegrated feels like? I didn't dream. I was suddenly in a dimly lit, musty room. It smelled like dirt. Old dirt. Ah, you've returned to the land of the living, good Shadow. May I know your name, Miss... Oh, excuse me. May I know your name, Miss... I'm Bettie Page. May I know yours, Miss? I don't suppose there's any harm, as we seem to be in this together. My husband calls me Lillibet, but most people these days call me something quite posh. I'm still getting used to it, to be honest. Queen Elizabeth II. Rather a mouthful, I'm afraid. Given the rather dire circumstances, perhaps it's best if you call me Betty, too. Pleasure to meet you, Betty, too. So where was I? Oh, right, I was telling how I met the Queen of England that time. Chapter 3, The Two Bettys. How do you come to find yourself sharing my imprisonment, Betty? Excuse me, I didn't do that right. How do you come to find yourself sharing my imprisonment, Betty? It's funny, you're not used to being the Queen, and I'm not used to talking about my crazy job out loud. I'm an agent of the United States government, signed to the Air Force's Project Blue Book. We investigate flying saucers, or as you call them over here, UFOs. UFOs. Okay, UFOs. Okay. Good heavens, how extraordinary, how brave new world that has such people in it. I had no idea our American cousins were employing such glamorous spies. It's a long story, but brass tacks. Last year I happened to blunder into an insane plot by a nutty cult leader who hijacked a flying saucer. By luck and with a lot of help, I managed to stop him and get the UFO back in the hands of my government. If I may ask, from whom did the madman hijack the UFO in the first place? The Air Force covered a crashed saucer in '47, which went down over a small town in New Mexico. A fancy pants science crew at a place called Pacific Aerospace Technologies fixed it up and got it flying again. All due respect, ma'am, but I feel something similar has happened here. Lord Harding has a saucer and a little green man, thank you very much, parked in a secret hangar in Bedfordshire. You think Harding is behind my abduction? The man is a worm, but this sort of treason, the mind reels. He was talking to my boss about trying to get funding for some big expensive alien defense ministry or something. Maybe that's the motive. He probably thinks if word gets out that little green men kidnapped the Queen, Parliament would eagerly fund his outer space boondoggle. It's so outlandish it could even be true. This smell of wet dirt doesn't scream outer space to me. I think Harling is stashed it somewhere in England. Have you seen any guards? Yes, a big fellow in a walking diving bell sort of thing comes 4 times a day with food and drink. Enormous brute. Never speaks. Well, whoever's behind this Harling or Professor Moriarty or Killer Kane, they're keeping you alive and healthy. I think we can use that to our advantage. Indeed, are you hatching a plot for our escape? How thrilling! I have an idea, yes ma'am. Ever done any acting? You got me into this mess, I'll scratch your eyes out. You're mad! Help! Help! Die, snob! Unhand me, commoner! I'll wring your scrawny raw neck! Help! She'll kill me! Click! Push with all your strength. Now! Gah! Thump! Whump! Oof! Miss me! Struth! Crack! Why, you little crash! Whoomp! Well done, ma'am. We Bettys have to stick together. What next? I put on his crazy space togs and we cakewalk out of here. Doesn't he need that gear to breathe? I wish to escape, but I'd rather not take the life of some unconscious creature to do so. I have a hunch there's more to these characters than meets the eye. Whoosh! Or maybe I should say less than meets the eye. My word! It's all some kind of colossal con. But I thought you said you saw a little green man. In Bedfordshire, no less. I did. It might have been a mask, or maybe it was the real thing. But this fella sure isn't, and he's breathing just fine. It smells like beer and sausages in this fishbowl. We have to get out of here before I lose my lunch. I hope this works. Aren't you a little short for a spaceman? Click. If Harling is behind this, he has a sense of humor, I will grant him that. I'm missing the joke. Our surroundings, I recognize them now. We're in the dungeon of the Tower of London. Elizabeth I was imprisoned here for a year before she was queen. I suppose I'm fortunate to have only been here a handful of days thus far. Does that mean you know the way out? I can't promise to have memorized the floor plan, but I shall call upon all my powers of recollection. Rumble! This way, I believe. And then Eccles says, you don't have to look like Eccles. Oh, excuse me. There we are. And then Eccles says, you don't have to look like Eccles. Ha 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 ha. This the only way out? I fear so. At least they're distracted. We'll try sneaking. If that doesn't work, bluffing. Sawed off! I do not look like Eccles. Well, you look like someone, mate, and it's not Dirk Bogart, I tell you that. Ha 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 ha. Now I've forgotten the funny bit. just like Eccles. Ha 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 ha. Once more and I will thrash you. What's all this then? Moving the prisoner to a new cell. Are you indeed? Take off the helmet, darling. Archie's a foot taller than you and his voice ain't half so pretty. Back off, don't make me use this thing. Oh dear. Ah ha 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 ha. It's a hollow tube, love. How's about you take off the bucket and we can have a butcher's at your boat? But I saw one of these disintegrate Tom Byrne. Oh, that was you in the Aston. Bloody nice car. Don't ask the magician how he does the trick, but it weren't the tube that did it. I guess we're sunk then. Crack! Gah! Blimey, but you're a dangerous little thing. Here now, miss, we don't want to shoot, but we will. Will you now? I cannot believe what I am seeing. British soldiers, the finest and most honorable military force in all the world, threatening to gun down unarmed women. My soldiers, you would kill your queen in the same dank dungeon where tyrants of old imprisoned my namesake? Well, the thing is, your majesty... Silence! Your queen is speaking. You will escort us from this place with respect and dignity worthy of centuries of noble tradition represented by the uniforms you wear and the proud flag waving over this fortress. With all due respect, ma'am, we have direct orders. Orders to hold you here, your majesty, for your own safety and the safety of the kingdom. Well, I am your queen, and I will not be held. Are you prepared to injure me to get me back into that dungeon? I promise you I shall not go meekly. When something ugly is about to happen, sometimes you feel it in the air. It's cliche, sure, but that smell in the air before a thunderstorm, I could tell I had seconds to head it off. Before we all do things we're going to regret a lot, I have an idea. You have your orders and you're good soldiers. But here's your queen, the supreme commander, telling you to ignore those orders. It's a tough spot. You guys shouldn't have to dope it out for yourselves. The man who gave you those orders, he's the one to sort it out. So get him here. Let him tell the queen to her face that she's to hide in a dungeon behind a locked door. Then you fine gents can decide to do what you must. That's a capital idea, Betty. Splendid. Bring me Lord Harling. Well done, Betty. Thump, thump. Thanks. I didn't want some trigger-happy Tommy letting go with one of those stands. You did pretty good yourself. Silence, your queen is speaking. In that moment, I was genuinely angry. But looking back, I want to laugh. I imagine they think queens must speak like that, like Betty Davis in a Warner Brothers historical picture. Thump, 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 thump. That infernal machine will play havoc with the landscaping. The royal groundskeepers may never forgive me. I hope that's the worst of your troubles. Your Majesty, allow me to explain. No explanation for treason, Lord Harling. My disappointment is keen, but instruct your men to lay down their arms, and I shall consider letting you keep your head. It's not quite so simple, ma'am. England is under attack. This realm which you and I have both sworn oaths to defend. Neither the Parliament nor the Prime Minister grasp the enormity of the crisis. They denied me the tools to protect the realm, this realm, which you and I have both sworn oaths to defend. A demonstration was needed to rouse them from complacency and into action. I deeply regret that this was the only course left to me and that it has caused you distress. Distress, Harling? Have you gone mad? You kidnapped the Queen out of her bedchamber in Windsor. Order your men to release me this instant. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Once I got the funding for my new ministry, I would have released you unharmed and none the wiser. But Winston had to drag the Americans, and this silly girl had to muck it up. If a mere silly girl could figure it out, Harling, it wasn't much of a plan. It's over. You're caught, and you know it. It's time to pay the piper. You lost. Have I indeed, Miss Page? I'm not so sure. Guards, escort them to their cell. If they resist, I order you to use any and all methods to obtain obedience. What are you waiting for? Carry out my command. I don't know about you, Harry, but I didn't join the forces to manhandle the Queen. That's the truth and no mistake. Crack, crack. No! Crack, crack, crack. Not sure that was necessary, old man. You talk too much, Harling. As you yourself said, action was needed. Oh, excuse me. That's a different character. You talk too much, Harling. As you yourself said, action was needed. Burn! Have you missed me, Betty? I'm touched. You're a fraud and a murderer. In other words, a spy. That's what we do, darling. Rather surprised you haven't learned that by now. A fraud, a murderer, and a traitor. I can't imagine you care awfully much about defending Britain from flying discs. Did Harling buy your services? Indeed he did, your majesty, much as your father, the late king, bought my services in the last war. Bought them cheap at half the price. But don't tell Harling, I'd have done it for free. The chance to take one of you lot down a peg was irresistible. I've never killed a queen. But it's all gone pear-shaped, Harling, and I don't see another solution. I don't know, Byrne. Don't go wobbly on me, old man. The palace guards are sure to stumble upon us at any moment. We put that Buck Rogers helmet back on Harry, and you've got a hostage. Hold on. I wonder if that is. All right, here we go. We put that Buck Rogers helmet back on Harry, and you've got a hostage exchange with the spacemen that went bad. They killed our beloved queen. Oh no, that's not Betty. I'm trying to figure out who that is. No, that's him. We put that Buck Rogers helmet back on Harry, and you've got a hostage exchange with the spacemen that went bad. They killed our beloved queen and an American secret agent. Imagine the outrage and panic. Parliament will bury you in money for your Space Force nonsense. You won't have to launch Phase 2. You know me, I'm the girl who takes risks, least without looking. It's a little different when your Hail Mary play might get the Queen of England killed. But what's the expression? Fortune favors the bold. Punt. Crunch. Ah! Crack, crack. Blast you. Follow me. I'm out. Throw me that sten. Crack. I'm afraid to ask. Don't worry, I know how to fly a helicopter. It seemed like a bad time to tell her that my training had mostly been reading an instruction manual. Thump, 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 thump. You did it, Betty. We're saved. I hate to argue with royalty, but we're not out of the woods yet. Funny thing, I sort of flew a flying saucer once. Remember that? But not a helicopter. Chapter 4, I'm Her Majesty's Secret Service. Thump, 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 thump. And of course there's the whoosh sound. I've read the manuals, knew enough to get it off the ground and keep it in the sky. I for sure wasn't prepared to dogfight an alien spaceship in one. Well, they haven't started shooting at us yet. No, hold on. That was Betty. Well, they haven't started shooting at us yet. Hip hip hurrah for small favors then. Umbrella Leader, this is Umbrella Dreadnought. Come in, please. Over. Oh, that's from the thing. Hold on. I'm getting these voices all wrong today. Umbrella Leader, this is Umbrella Dreadnought. Come in, please. Over. Thump, 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 thump. Wait, they think we're Harling and Byrne. That explains why they're just hanging there. Sadly, we're two altos. Neither of us can match Harling's Oxford tenor or Byrne's Edinburgh brass. Umbrella Dreadnought, awaiting instructions. Maybe I can stall. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Say again, Umbrella Leader. Is the packet secure, or shall we proceed to Phase 2? Phase 2 sounds rather dire, wouldn't you agree? I do indeed. Let's not stick around and find out what it is. Do you have a plan? Run away as fast as we can. Hope the cavalry shows up before these jokers start with the heat rays. Umbrella Leader, come in, please. Do you wish Umbrella Dreadnought to follow you? Shall we commence Phase 2? Good, they're confused. With any luck, we'll... Umbrella Dreadnought, this is Umbrella Leader. Oh dear, it's Harling. I am not, repeat not, aboard that helicopter. Blast it out of the sky. I repeat, blast that helicopter out of the sky. Roger Wilco. Zrak, zrak. I guess Harling's decided I'm no longer worth keeping alive. Tell you what, let's keep you alive anyway, just to spite that weasel. Would you? I'd appreciate it ever so. It'd be my pleasure, ma'am. Umbrella Dreadnought to Bell 47. Set her down nice and easy and we won't have to blast you. You don't have to die today. Over.
Umbrella Dreadnought, oh, excuse me. Umbrella Dreadnought, this is Queen Elizabeth II. We shall now bargain with, we shall not bargain with traitors and assassins. Do what you must, and we shall do what we must. You're a brave one, your majesty. I do so wish you'd call me Elizabeth. Zzz, blimey! Zzz, blam! Zzz. No, we're running out of fuel and time and luck. We can't beat them up here. We're gonna have to take our chances on the ground. Blam! Zzz. Hold on tight, Betty II. Holding on, Betty I. Roman Theater of Verulamium. Okay. Come on. Please. Bam, bam. Are you all in one piece? It appears so. And yourself? A headache and some bruises, but arms and legs and head still attached. We'd better get to cover. Run! What is this place? Old Roman ruins. Blah, blah, blah. Old Roman, yeah. Oh, yeah, I said that right. Old Roman ruins. Verulamium. Gesundheit. Excuse me? Old joke, sorry. Nervous habit. Gesundheit. Dang it. They move pretty slow in these stupid suits. We still have a chance. A cab. We're in luck. Bad luck, it would appear. What an exhausting pair you are. Couple of bloody March hares. We're trapped. Quite. It's all over bar the shouting, little darlings. And let's not have any shouting. You couldn't have chosen a more fitting spot, your majesty. The Romans were invaders once, too. But they never conquered Scotland. Britain drives invaders into the sea, with Scotland's strong help, as Agent Byrne reminds us. But next time it won't be the sea. The next invaders will come from the sky. I wanted Britain to be ready. But Churchill and his stooges wouldn't listen, too obsessed with the bloody Reds. In a way, I am bestowing a great gift upon you. History will remember Queen Elizabeth II as the first martyr of the space age. There will be a bronze statue in Hyde Park. I shall insist on it. That's awfully kind of you, but statues can wait. I offer you one last chance, Lord Harling. End this foolishness and we can return to London and discuss your defense proposal. Rationally. It's rather too late for that, wouldn't you say, ma'am? Fuck! Crash! Kill them! My car! Burn, you idiot! Drop it, pal. Larry! You promised you'd never call me that. It slipped out. Where's Lissa? Taking care of business like always. Ha! Thwack! Gah! Thud! Crack! Kingdom come! Oh my! Wow! Blam! You again. Are these friends of yours? My brothers have returned. I will never get used to this. Where's Byrne? Did you kill him? The Aston Martin DB2 has a pretty cramped trunk, but you can get a whole entire fool in there, even if you're in a rush. Time to return to base, brother. I suppose so, brother. Deepest apologies for the display of violence. You understand it would be irresponsible to leave our damaged ship on your planet. Naturally. You're all mad. Look at them. They're monsters. They'll destroy us all. Smack. That will be quite enough from you, minister. I say. This was your captor? Of a sort, I placated the fellow, and as a result, I was treated rather well. I thought him harmless, but these young women revealed him to be quite a bit more dangerous than I initially surmised. This being is Bettie Page? You know me? I didn't think they had girly mags in outer space. You were involved in the recovery of a dangerous artifact, which, we are told, you manipulated in an unforeseen way. That's what Gene Kelly said. Excuse me, Gene Kelly, the dancer? Yeah, it's complicated. Betty met one of these outer space Jaspers, and he made himself look like Gene Kelly, so's not to spook her. You say that as though it's the most reasonable explanation in the world. There is soon to be an event. It is a belief that in order to face this event, you will have need of the artifact Earthmen named the Tunguska Star. It is our belief that we were mistaken to take it from you. We had not yet grasped the pattern of the unfolding crisis and the part that you are destined to play in it. It is our belief that you will use it wisely. And now, let me say, I apologize deeply to the Queen of England for my part in the base treachery of your minister and his minions. You are forgiven, sir. You may go in peace, and may that peace prevail between our nations, or rather, planets. The Queen is kind and wise. I see now that Lord Harling was a poor representative of this world's denizens. I wonder, then, if I might ask one small favor before I leave your planet forever. Yes, this will do marvelously. You boil the leaves? No, brother, no. You boil water and put the leaves in the water. Ha ha ha! What extraordinary fellows! I can't believe Harling was hiding them from us. Pity they have to be on their way. So, how did you two find us? I managed to get away from the Bedfordshire base and locate McKnight. By the time we got back there, you were gone, and so was the saucer. But it was leaking so much radiation it was easy to track with the Geiger counter. We didn't have time to call for help, but it turns out you were already in the middle of rescuing yourself when we got there as usual. A word, Betty? Excuse me, commoners, my bestest new friend, the Queen of England... Hold on. Excuse me, commoners, my bestest new friend, the Queen of England, would like a word. What may I do for your majesty? Your endless good humor never fails to remind me that I am far too serious, but allow me one more moment of seriousness. Sorry, I can't help it. By all means, be serious. Betty, I fear I can never thank you enough. You did a service to me and to this nation, which equals, if not surpasses, anything any man has ever done for the crown. Yet to maintain secrecy and security, I cannot knight you. I cannot sing your praises from the spire of St. Paul's Cathedral much as I want to. It breaks my heart. Your Elizabeth, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and the next time I'm down, I remember that one time the Queen of England, who's the nicest gal you ever could meet, said this wonderful sweet thing to me, and I'll be up again. I'll be happy. A vacation? Why don't I believe you? You're so cynical, Drook. My two best agents have cracked an important case, and I want them to get out into the countryside and relax. What possible trouble could you get into in a quiet Scottish fishing village? Why, you sneaky Loch Ness. Uh-oh. There's old Nessie. What? There's more, guys. Most folks probably wouldn't think about it, but the life of a pinup model and the life of a secret agent have a few things in common. Maybe the best one is you get to travel sometimes. Chapter 5, Lock and Key. This was supposed to be a vacation, but I wasn't about to believe that. You know me, nice sense of humor. This could just be his idea of a joke. When you work for the weird stuff department and the boss sends you on a sightseeing tour of Loch Ness, hard to believe he's kidding. Last time I was on a riverboat, we were going down to Tennessee. No boats in L.A. The river is mostly concrete there. When we clear the canals, 'tis another half hour to Elcourt Castle. I'll dock there, and you can faff off and all you like for a wee bit. Thanks, Captain. I understand about half of every sentence. I practiced a Scottish accent for hours back in '47 for a Brigadoon audition. I didn't get the part, but now I can sort out their accent when I hear it. Are you a Yank, miss? I bet your friends and family back at Nashville would just love to hear you answer this question. I guess over here I am a Yank, little darling. Oh, that's a young girl that said that. Okay. I'm Betty. This is my best friend, Lissa. What's your name? I'm Natasha, and this is Nana Ella. Pleased to meet you both. Do forgive the wee bairn. She's a friendly one. That's just fine, ma'am, 'cause so am I. Nice to meet you, Natasha. I don't trust that little girl already. Put. Whirr. Put. Clack. Uh-oh. Put. I see something out there. You've sharp eyes, dearie, but your old Nana sees naught but luck. Did you ever see the Loch Ness Monster, Captain? Excuse me. There we go. Loch Ness Monster? No, lass, I'd never seen any monster. I did see something one time. What I saw was an ancient god of the sea. a titan of awesome power and prodigious size, an immortal leviathan who reigns supreme over the oceans of this world an eon before God made Adam. But a monster? No, I've never seen any monster. Poop Deck Pappy was laying it down pretty wild. Excuse me. Poop Deck Pappy was laying it down pretty wild. What do you think? What he described, did it make you think of that grainy picture from 1934 or something else, something more recent? An ancient god, Lissa, an immortal leviathan. You don't mean like the great old ones, like that crazy name Yog-Sothoth? Betty, I can't imagine what you saw. I can't imagine how it felt to come face to face with one of those things. Are you sure this isn't just, I don't know, interdimensional shell shock? It would be just like me to invent a new kind of crazy, but what if I'm right? We're here. Muck about all you like. 2 hours gone, I'll be steaming back to Fort Augustus, and best you be here when I cast off. Slow down, wee one. Your Nana can't catch up. I'll wait for you at the gatehouse, Nana. Oh, just be careful where you tread. That tower make a great background. I should have known you'd make vacation snapshots into a full Hollywood production. Girl's gotta have her standards. If you end up selling these to a magazine, I'm getting a cut. Of course you get a cut, silly. I don't see it. Just keep watching. Translated from the Russian. I'll be ready in a second. Just don't take too much off. We don't want to get tossed out of Scotland. Ha 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 ha. Don't worry, I only take those kind of photos when I'm well paid. Jangle. Nana, here. I see, dear. Don't be a bother to the nice ladies. It's no bother, ma'am. You like my bangs? You like my bangs, little bean? They're brilliant. Do you like mine? I adore them. There, she has a star around her throat like a cheap bourgeois necklace. So the science directorate was right. I am impressed. Snap, 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 snap. I gotta say, sometimes I forget how incredibly good you are at this. I was doing perfectly fine at it until you-know-who recruited me for you-know-what. Let's take a break. I could use a cold Coke. Clap, 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 clap. Thank you, you're too kind. Hope you didn't mind us watching. It was a pleasure, and I do love an audience. That you do. Come now, dearie, let's climb up the tower. See you later, little bean. In we go. This view really is something. And no monsters, just how I like it. All right now, Bonnie lasses. All right now, Bunny lasses. We're gonna need all your valuables. Quick now. Wow, this is the last place on Earth I expected to get mugged. But between the two of us, we might scrounge together £5 worth it. 5 pounds. Worth it, you think? We'll take your trinkets too, like that shiny necklace. Oh, will you now? This isn't a hold-up, Lissa. Look at their shoes. Look at those guns. Well, how about that? Red Army issue. And you couldn't resist breaking out of those brand new spanking Makarov pistols. A couple of Scottish fishermen would have Webleys or Brownings. Not the very latest in Soviet sidearms. Wait a minute, even with the beard, I'd never forget a face. Andre from Cons? And under all that fur, I bet that's your deadly girl Friday. I never caught her name. Enough, you have recognized us. Fine, none of this matters. You came for the Tunguska Star, of course. How did I know you have it? You can ponder that question to your heart's delight after you hand it over. Remember way back in Bettie Page Volume 1, Issue 7? Sorry, Andre, but I just can't do that. You know what it is, right? Where it came from. Did your bosses let you in on that? I do. I know where it came from. I know something of its power. So you are stalling. I promise no help is coming for you. Last time they told us this Tunguska Star was too powerful for us to have, and I was happy to let it go. Back to the stars. Back where it belongs. And then last week, they gave it back to me. They said I needed it, Andre. They said something was coming, something bad, and I need this thing to stop it. Fairy tales. You are desperate and seek to frighten me with fairy tales. I survived Stalingrad, little girl. You cannot frighten me with astounding stories of super science. Andre, listen to me. Rip that necklace off her throat. With pleasure. I was forming a plan. I didn't have one, though. Not yet, but someone else did. Conk! Ouch! Oh, Leon, what have you done? Pissed. No! Roar! Splash! Seeing it up close like that, I got what the old cat was talking about. It was a nightmare. And it was magnificent. Once more! I cannot believe it. Leviathan. For a moment, we were all paralyzed. And then we realized it was coming towards us. Pow, 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 pow. Natasha and her grandma, we have to get them out of here. Yes. Roar. Pow, 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 pow. I'll get the kid. You grab grandma. Check. Roar. I've got you, honey. Oh, there we go. Did I ever tell you King Kong scared the pants off me when I was a youngin'? Oh no! Thwack! Run! I'll never forget the sound it made. I'm not sure I know how to describe it. Imagine the roar of the biggest grizzly bear in the world combined with the number 7 train coming down the EL at high speed over bent tracks. Something like that. No! Put her down! My baby! God help us! What is it doing? I don't know. Bettie May Page. Bettie May Page, we would like to speak with you for a moment. Release Natasha. Then we can talk all you like. The girl is unharmed. We pledged this to be truth. We needed a vessel to communicate with you in a manner you could comprehend. Our brother, he who is the gate and the guardian of the gate, our brother prepares even now to open the eternal gates, to spread his wrath and that of our brethren across the infinite oceans of all existence. The hand of fate brought you to the realm of my exile, where I swim in the deep seas of time and forget the stars. Now the voice of fate whispers your name in my dreams. Bettie May Page, you already possess one of the 5 keys to the eternal gates. You must find the other 4 and bring them together in harmony. Only in this way can the guardian who is the gate be defeated, and the great old ones locked safely back in their own dark dimension. Bettie Page, it is to be you, and you will be equal to the task. Do not fear. Farewell. Natasha! Nana, I had a dream. I saw the monster. It was grand. Did you now? How very exciting. What did I just see? A storm is coming. Sounds like a big one. I sure hope I'm ready for it. Next, the Crisis on Infinite Betties begins in Bettie Page Unbound. It's as far as we're going, folks. If this interests you, you need to go pick up Bettie Page Unbound from Dynamite Comics. Here's the bonuses, the covers. Lots of covers here. Classics, too. Look at that. Always did like that one. Another classic. Look at that. That's a good one. Very British. Like that one. Classic stuff. Ooh, like that one. Another classic. Very good. Very Dynamite. I like that one, okay. Ooh, look at that. Another classic. Okay. And that's going to be it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the Bettie Page that we've done here on Grimm's Comic Corner. Unfortunately, we're getting into the 2020 stuff. I don't want to get too far because, you know, Dynamite's still kind of putting these out, and I kind of want to do like their older stuff so as not to, you know, mess with the sales of the newer books because, yeah, we want to support the newer books. And don't forget, you can always pick up Dynamite books. You know, if not Dynamite physicals, you can always get them in bundles. Like they show up a lot at Humble Bundle has a bunch of them, and I think there's I don't think it's Indie Gala, but I think it's Fanatics. One of those. They do comics as well, but I prefer the Humble Bundles because I mean, there was Groupies, but Groupies is still like up in the air, and they had an awful lot of these, like ridiculous amounts of Dynamite bundles, and they're always good to have. I always do like when Dynamite brings their digitals on, and you know helps charity and stuff like that. So they're very cool, and definitely support them. So, pardon. So at any rate, this will be the Grim Lord, and I'm out for Grimm's Comics Corner with Bettie Page.